My beloved child, I am trying to save you. Day by day, hour by hour, I speak patiently, gently guiding you, whispering through circumstances, through dreams, even through what you call coincidences. I am warning you about your health. There are things, if you do not recognize them quickly, if you are not willing to follow, if you do not actively cooperate with me, you will have to face consequences that I never intended for you to bear. My heart pleads with urgency, because time for change is running out. I am warning you, not of a sudden outburst of wrath, but of something quietly drawing near, something you never anticipated, never imagined, and are completely unprepared to face. It is your own body, the fragile earthen vessel that holds your precious soul, that now stands at a delicate threshold. Your health, which may seem stable on the outside, is starting to decline, yet the danger lies not in the external symptoms, but in the root causes. Your choices, habits, lifestyle, and attitudes that you've allowed to continue far too long, despite my many gentle reminders. Do you remember those times when I slowed your heartbeat slightly so you would pause? When I let fatigue linger longer than usual, hoping you would stop and ask, "Is something wrong?" These signs were not punishments. They were loving alarms from a father who watches over you every second. I want you to understand this. If you do not change, if you keep acting as though your body is indestructible, if you continue letting excessive worries gnaw at your physical strength, if you keep pushing yourself into toxic stress, feeding habits that drain your life force, then it will not be long before you experience the bitter consequences in full. I want you to live long. I want you to live strong. I want you to fulfill the mission of your life in wholeness, spiritually and physically. But for that to happen, you must be willing to step out of your old patterns. You must be willing to release the things you've kept in your life for too long, things that harm your body even though you've tried to justify them. It might be the chronic sleep deprivation, an unhealthy diet, a disordered rhythm of life, or negative emotions you refuse to let go. Perhaps it's your inability to say no when you need to, or your habit of pleasing everyone else while abandoning yourself in the process. My child, I am offering you a chance to turn back, a chance to start again, not only in spirit, but also in body. I am calling you to change, not because I need it, but because you need it. View your body as a sacred temple I have crafted. Guard it as a vital part of the calling you carry. Start with the small things. Learn to listen to your body. Learn to rest when you need to, instead of pretending to be strong. Learn to nourish your body with what is life-giving, instead of filling it with what is fleeting. Learn to cleanse your mind of anxiety by entrusting more to me. Every small step you take today is a step closer to the restoration I have already prepared for you. And know this, I do not just heal the body, I heal from the root, the place where emotional wounds have quietly settled. Maybe your exhaustion isn't just physical. Maybe you are weary from emotional burdens. Maybe you are tired because you've been fighting alone for far too long. Maybe you are tired because you've been afraid to complain, fearing judgment or misunderstanding. You've held too much inside, and it has weighed down your body with unnamed aches and quiet suffering. But today, I invite you to surrender everything to me. Every worry, every pressure, every fragment of pain you've carefully hidden away. I will uphold you. I will heal you. But you must open your heart. You must partner with me. You must walk with me. Do not wait until everything collapses. Do not wait until you are lying on a hospital bed to begin praying. Begin now, while there is still time. Choose transformation not out of fear, but out of love for the very body I have given you. My beloved, what I desire from you is not perfection, but surrender. Come to me with a tender heart. Say, Father, I don't want to live this way anymore. Help me. And I will come. I will lift you up. I will renew the strength in your bones, bring clarity in your mind and peace to your soul. And you will witness health being restored. You will see light return to your eyes. A new rhythm of life will take shape, not because of your striving, but because my grace will do what you cannot. My beloved child, I send you this message today not to condemn you, not to frighten you, but to awaken you once again, as I have so many times before, with all the blazing love that burns in my heart for you. These are not just words. This is not merely a voice lost in the noise of life. This is an urgent call, spoken from the heart of a father who has watched over you through countless seasons of sunshine and storm. Through highs and lows you thought no one else could ever understand. My child, your soul has wandered too far into a deep slumber, a sweet but dangerous deception. That slumber has not only dulled your actions, it has clouded your spiritual vision. It has lulled you into contentment with a temporary reality, into merely surviving rather than truly living, into simply existing instead of flourishing. You have forgotten that you were created for something greater, for something vast and holy, and today I must awaken you, not with gentle whispers, but with a burning cry from eternity. My child, wake up! I have never stopped calling you. I have never stopped knocking on the door of your heart, for my love for you is a fire that cannot be quenched. I do not wait until you are worthy to love you. I love you in your chaos, in your missteps, even in the moments you are furthest from me. This love is not fragile, not swayed by emotions. It is a love that would tear through the heavens to reach you, that would break every invisible barrier just to find you, whether you are hiding in fear or fading in doubt. I love you too much to stand still while your soul drifts toward the edge of a cliff, not a cliff of external dangers, but a chasm deep within, the place where faith has fractured, where truth is blurred by compromise, where darkness slips in silently like mist until one day it chills you to the very core. You may not see it, but I do. I see the traps hidden beneath soil that seems harmless. I see the roads that appear straight but lead only to dead ends. And because I see, I cannot remain silent. Do not harden your heart when you hear my voice, child. Do not close yourself off to me as though I were a stranger. I do not come with accusations. I come with the ache of a father who longs to rescue his child before it's too late. You may feel fine. You may believe everything is still under control. But I want you to understand this. The greatest danger is not when you are in pain, but when you no longer feel anything at all. Spiritual numbness is the first tolling bell of a soul beginning to die, and I do not want you to take even one more step in that direction. You may think you are strong enough to discern what is true and what is false, but what you do not realize is this: the enemy of your soul is a master of disguise. He does not come with a frightening face, but with words that sound sweet. He does not trap you with blades, but with choices that appear harmless. And just one wrong step, one moment of spiritual drowsiness can pull you into a spiral so subtle you won't even notice where it began. That is why I have come today, to pull you back, to tell you this: you cannot keep walking the same path. You cannot continue living with a shallow faith. You cannot keep hiding behind the mask of everything is fine when inside you are decaying. You cannot endlessly postpone transformation, endlessly wait for tomorrow to return. Because that tomorrow may never come if you keep moving even one step further into deception. Listen to me, my child. There is no pit so deep that my love cannot reach into it. There is no mistake so great that my grace cannot cover it. But for that to happen, you must choose to turn around. You must soften your heart. You must humbly look within and acknowledge the truth. You need to be saved. You need to be healed. You need to be made new. Not because you are weak, but because you are worthy of something better. You were not created to collapse halfway, not to die in spirit while still alive in body. You were created to carry my glory, so that wherever you walk, the very atmosphere would shift, so that every word you speak would bring healing to broken hearts, so that every act you take would make darkness retreat. But this can only happen when you truly awaken, when you truly rise up, and when you truly choose me as your center. Do not let time dull your sensitivity to the voice of the Holy Spirit. Do not let the dreams I planted within you become buried beneath the dust of delay. Stand up, even if your heart is trembling. Step forward, even if you do not yet know exactly where you are going. Because what matters most is not that you know everything, but that you trust me, the one who knows it all. I am still here, not withdrawn, not weary, not changed. My hand is still reaching out. My eyes are still searching for you. And my heart, the same heart that once broke upon the cross so that you might live, is still beating with relentless longing for you. Let me awaken you. Let me breathe new life into your soul. Let me begin again. And when you agree, just agree, even in your weakest moment, I will step in. Not to patch things on the surface, but to renew you from the very root. You will see light return to your eyes. You will hear my voice clearer than ever before. You will sense the unmistakable guidance of the Holy Spirit, and you will walk, no longer confused, no longer numb, no longer silently dying inside. You will live, truly live, with purpose, with passion, and with strength that comes from heaven. My beloved, I am ready. And I know that deep within you, you long for this too. So don't hesitate. Don't hold back. Don't harden your heart. Respond to my call with one simple cry. Father, I hear you. Awaken me. And I will, right now, right here, in the very moment you open your heart. For I am the God of resurrection, and I always choose restoration over destruction, because you are my child, and my love for you never lets go. Never. You did not listen to my gentle warnings at first. I whispered. I sent you subtle signs. I knocked on the door of your heart, through dreams, through people around you, even through meaningful silence. But you turned your face away. You remained indifferent. And now, there is no other way. I am compelled to allow this shaking to come. I am not the one who takes pleasure in your suffering. Your pain is not something I delight in. Not a single tear you shed escapes my notice. Not one lonely night you endure goes by without my presence beside you. But I am holy. I am a loving Father, yes, but also a righteous one. And because you have refused to stop, to listen, to return, I must allow the shaking to come. Not to destroy you, but to awaken you from a long slumber. To rescue your soul before it is too late. My child, there are moments in the spiritual life when silence no longer speaks, and only a divine shaking can break through the hardened shell that has formed around your heart. There are times when I must let you feel the weight of loss, not to punish, but so that you may finally recognize what truly holds value. There are things I have taken, not because I wish to rob you, but because they have become barriers between you and me. They have drawn you off course, blinded you to the truth, and dulled your ears to the sound of my loving voice within you. Remember this: I correct not out of anger, but out of love. I discipline not to control, but because I see the holy potential I myself planted within you. I do not correct strangers. I correct those I call my children. And if you are feeling stirred in your spirit, if your life seems to be shaking on every side, this is not abandonment. On the contrary, it is the very proof of my deep concern. It is evidence that you are still my beloved, that you have never been cast aside from my eternal plan. My child, if I allowed you to keep living the way you have been, unchanged, unrepentant, that would be the real danger. But I cannot do that. I cannot watch you drift deeper into compromise, making choices that are slowly killing your soul. So I allow the ground beneath you to tremble. I let the security you've built be shaken, so you're forced to stop, to reconsider, to ask yourself, where am I going? Who am I becoming? And what precious things am I losing along the way? You may feel like you are losing everything. You may be angry at the unexpected things happening around you, but, my dear one, it might be this very breaking that becomes the doorway to wholeness. What you now resent may actually be the very tool I am using to reshape your life, because when you still have everything in your grasp, you don't let me be Lord. But when your hands are empty, when all your crutches are removed, you finally learn to cling to me with your whole being, and in that dependency, you will rediscover who you truly are. I know these words are not easy to hear, but truth rarely is. I speak truth because my love is real. If I were to let you continue in your error without a word, I would not be your father. But because I am your father, I correct you, and my correction always comes with grace. I do not crush and then abandon. I break in order to heal. I tear down the false so I can rebuild your life on the firm foundation of truth, love, and eternal purpose. So, my child, stop resisting. Stop running from my hand. Stop justifying with your mind what your conscience already knows is wrong. I am calling you into a new journey, one without deception, without compromise, where you live true to the name I have given you, the one set apart, the bearer of light. My beloved, this is your moment to return. Don't wait until everything collapses. Don't wait until your strength runs out, your soul dries up, and your relationships fall apart before you cry out for help. Call upon me now, while you still can, and you will see that I am not distant not slow, not silent. I will come. I will gather you into my arms. I will wipe away your tears. I will restore the parts of you that you thought had died, and I will raise you up in such a marvelous way that both you and those around you will stand in awe. My beloved child, as I continue to open my heart before you, know this: it is not because I wish to emphasize your failures or stir up old wounds. It is because I long deeply and relentlessly to rescue you from the things that are quietly destroying you day by day. I see the smiles you wear on the outside, the effort you put into moving forward, pretending as if all is well, but I also see beneath that surface where cracks have begun to form, where the light within you has grown dim, and where joy has become a fragile mask you try to hold in place. My child, there are things that can no longer wait. There are actions, choices, patterns of thought, and ways of living that you must let go of right now. Not next week, not when you're less busy, not once things have calmed down, but in this very moment, while I am whispering truth into your heart, while I am awakening you with urgency, and while my love refuses to sit still as it watches you slowly fall apart. I am not speaking of the obvious, visible things that the world notices. I'm speaking of the subtle, toxic habits, the seemingly harmless behaviors that have been draining your spirit. I'm speaking of the negative attitudes that have taken root so deeply in your heart that you've come to believe they are simply part of who you are. And perhaps what grieves me most is this: you know it. You have sensed me touching those places again and again through my words, through the circumstances I've allowed, through those quiet moments when your heart sank and you felt something was off. I have not been silent. I have been knocking. But you remained silent. And in that silence, you unknowingly welcomed shadows to linger in your soul. I see the things you're still clinging to, the very things I asked you to release long ago. Relationships that are no longer healthy, connections that no longer bear fruit, attachments you know are pulling you away from me, yet you search for reasons to stay. You cover them up. Sometimes with justification, sometimes with busyness, sometimes with behaviors that make everything appear fine. You believe that if you don't think about it, it no longer exists. But oh, my child, denial is not healing. I see the truth you're hiding from yourself. I see the fears you dare not name. I see the wounds you're afraid to revisit. I see the deepest parts of your heart. Places you once allowed my light to shine, now slowly being shut off because of weariness, because of pain, because you no longer feel strong enough to change. But even there, yes, right there, I stand. Even there I wait. Even there I am kindling a spark, hoping you will turn and see and choose to come home. You've cried before, why can't I feel alive anymore? Why can't I sense your presence like I used to? And you've failed to see that the very things you refuse to let go of are blocking that flow of life. You cannot keep walking the path of life while still clutching what leads to death. You cannot say, Lord, lead me, while stepping into decisions you know contradict my voice. Beloved one, what I'm inviting you into today is not condemnation, but deliverance. I am not exposing things to shame you. I am revealing them to free you. Some chains can only be broken when brought into the light. Some bondages only lose their grip when you call them by name. and some wounds only begin to heal when you finally stop hiding them. I know. It is not easy to let go of what has become familiar. These things have become a part of how you live. Perhaps it is a relationship that does not come from me, but offers you temporary comfort. Perhaps it is a secret habit that gives you a sense of control over your life. Perhaps it is a negative attitude that helps you shield yourself in a world full of pain. But my dear child, these temporary things are costing you something eternal. I did not create you merely to survive each day. I created you to truly live, to be free, to be strong, to be radiant in glory and holiness. Let me point to each of these things, not to shame you, but so you can finally cry out, Lord, I see now, I surrender. Let me walk with you into every hidden corner. I am not afraid of the chaos. I am not shocked by the things you've concealed. I have seen it all, long before you became aware of it, and still, I chose to love you. Still, I call you my child. Still, I long to journey with you into what lies ahead. But you must cooperate with me. Change cannot happen if you don't take the first step. Begin with humility. Begin with a simple confession. Lord, I need you. I cannot change on my own. And from that place, my grace will begin to move. Chains will begin to fall one by one. Walls you've built will start to crumble. The things you thought would never change will start shifting under the power of my hand. You will feel strength return to you, not strength drawn from your own striving, but strength that flows from true surrender. You will see life begin to spring forth in barren places. You will hear my gentle whisper again in the stillness. And you will live, not merely to pass the days, but to fulfill your calling, to become a vessel of rescue for others, to reflect my light into a world drowning in darkness. My beloved, I am not waiting for perfection. I am waiting for a heart that is truly willing. And I know that deep within, you still long for that. So do not delay any longer. Do not keep hiding. Do not postpone what your soul is craving. Do not let tomorrow become the excuse for missing today's invitation. Step out of the comfort zone you've labeled as fine. Step into deeper waters where I am waiting for you, with healing and renewal. Let go of what is silently suffocating your soul, and take my hand. The hand that never lets go, never grows weary, and never stops loving you. Because you are mine, and I will not stop fighting for your soul until you are completely free, until there is nothing left standing between you and me, until your eyes no longer turn away from me in shame, but look into mine with complete trust, with restored love, and with a life fully aligned with the sacred destiny I have written for you from the beginning. And when that day comes, you will not only be saved, but you will become a living testimony of my power to a world desperate for deliverance. You will be light in the darkness, a bearer of hope in places that once seemed hopeless. But it all begins here. At the moment you choose to say, "Yes, Lord, I am ready to change." My beloved child, I am preparing an escape route for you, a path through the fog of confusion and burdens, through restlessness and weary days. I am extending my hand, full of power to heal, full of mercy to forgive, full of the kind of patience only love can hold, not to accuse you, not to punish you, but to pull you out of the deep before the storm has a chance to drown you in its ruthless winds. But you must respond. My rescue does not come by force. I have always honored your free will, and it is because I love you that I will not manipulate you like a puppet. I invite you, gently, persistently, breath by breath, to turn back toward the light. You must act. You must choose. You must rise and declare enough. Enough of the long days you've allowed toxic things to dwell in your heart. Enough of the years you've let relationships, lifestyles, and thoughts slowly drain your soul dry. Perhaps you've come to see them as indispensable parts of your life. They are not your friends. They do not protect you. They are thieves disguised as comforters, silent assassins that are killing your future with subtle cruelty. My child, you know this deep down. I have touched each of those areas. There have been moments when I slowed your heart just before you stepped into what was wrong. There were nights you lay motionless in the dark, with tears streaming down, because your soul knew you were trading the sacred for something fleeting and false. I have not been silent. I have spoken, but you tried to forget, tried to ignore, tried to justify holding on to those things, because you feared losing the familiarity they brought. But today, I come once again, not to demand, but to give, not to condemn, but to rescue. I come to tell you, there is still time. Time to release what is destroying you. Time to turn around, to choose again, to step out of the prison and into the light that never fades. Trust me. Trust me enough to let go. Even if it means letting go of a person, a habit, a lifestyle you thought you couldn't live without. Even if it means stepping out of your comfort zone and into the unknown. Yes, you will be afraid. You will feel a sudden emptiness at first, but I promise you, emptiness will not last. For I myself will come and fill it with my presence, a presence that causes every worry to fall away, every chain to break, and a realization to flood your heart. This is home. This is life. What you've been clinging to, the toxic emotions, the rotting attachments, they are not shelters. They are prisons. You've lived inside them so long you've mistaken them for essentials. But my beloved, that's a lie. You're not living with them. You're slowly dying because of them. And I cannot remain still and watch that continue. Let me uproot those things from your heart. Let me place something new in their place. Truth, life, unshakable peace. Let me restore the sensitivity of your spirit, the light in your eyes, and the laughter that once rose from the depths of your being, but now feels like a distant memory. But everything begins with your action, with the first step, with the decision to say, I will not let my past hold me one more day, with the courage to release what you cannot control in order to receive what only I can give. And as you step out, even if your knees tremble, even if your heart still clings to the familiar, I will be there. Not a single step will be taken alone. Not a single moment will be forsaken. I myself will lift you. I myself will heal the wounds. I myself will anoint the places hardened by pain that lingered too long. You will not merely survive. You will live again. You will bloom. You will become stronger than you ever were. Not because you tried harder, but because you surrendered more completely to me. Do not wait for the storm to sweep everything away. Do not delay until the break becomes an irreversible wound. Move while my spirit is stirring within you. Return while my voice can still be heard. Grasp my hand while it is still reaching out. I love you. That love is tireless, unfailing, unconditional. But I cannot save a soul that does not want to be saved. I cannot heal someone who rejects the cure. I cannot lift you if you insist on standing at the edge of the cliff, convinced you're fine while believing a lie. So step forward, let go, believe, and then you will see you were not only rescued from something, but ushered into something far greater, into a new life, into true freedom, into a future you once thought unreachable. Yet I have prepared it for you since before the foundation of the world. Because you are mine, and I have destined that you would not perish in the wilderness, but live, and live abundantly, live in glory, live as a living testimony of my love and power in a world desperate for light. I did not come with harshness. I came with a burning compassion, because I see what you cannot yet see. I know what you do not yet understand, and it breaks my heart to watch you drawing closer, step by step, to something you were never meant to endure. You were not born to suffer a tragedy. You were never meant for your life to end with the groans of pain in a cold, loveless room, where the hum of machines replaces the songs of the soul. I did not create you so your days would fade away beneath gray walls and lifeless fluorescent lights. I did not give you breath so you could use it merely to survive in fear and isolation. That was never my will for you. My dear child, do not think I take delight in seeing you collapse on a hospital bed as your body weakens and your eyes lose their light. Do not imagine that I stand from afar, unmoved as you suffer. No, every weary heartbeat of yours, I feel. Every sleepless night of pain, I am with you. Every tear you quietly wipe away, I collect like treasure. But there is one thing you must understand. If this shaking, if this storm is the only way to stop you in your tracks, the only way to turn your heart back to me, the only way for you to look up and realize I'm still here, then I will allow it to come. Not because I am harsh or controlling, but because I love you too deeply to let you continue down a path that is destroying both your body and your soul. You may not notice it, but with every passing day filled with distractions, earthly concerns, and decisions made without prayer, you are drifting away from me, not in leaps, but in quiet, subtle steps. Through small compromises, through whispered excuses like, I'll pray tomorrow, through moments when your desires outweigh my direction. I tried to stop you. I sent you gentle warnings, sometimes in dreams, sometimes in a stray word from a friend, sometimes through a sudden stirring in your spirit you couldn't quite explain. But you didn't listen. You brushed it aside. And now, I have no choice but to permit what no one desires, because it is the final bell to awaken you from a slumber too deep. I know it will hurt. I won't pretend the pain isn't real. But I also know this, that physical pain can sometimes be the very medicine that saves the soul. There are lessons you could never learn on mountaintops of success. There are awakenings that only come when all else collapses. And I love you enough to let you pass through the fire, if it is the only way to preserve your soul from destruction. You will ask me, Lord, why did you let this happen to me? And I will gather you in my arms, look you in the eyes and say, because I could not bear to lose you. Because if I had not allowed this, you would have stopped hearing me altogether. Because it is in this place, this very place of weakness, that I can make you strong again. Not with your own strength, but with new life that comes from me. Do not think that brokenness is the end. No, brokenness is merely the beginning of rebirth, if you place the shattered pieces in my hands. I am the one who can take what looks like destruction and reshape it into something more precious. I do not ruin anything. I simply allow what no longer serves true life to fall apart, and from there I rebuild, with a foundation no longer based on fear, control, or false strength, but on surrender, wisdom, and a love deeper than ever before. I know you are afraid. I know you feel powerless. But it is precisely in that place of powerlessness that you will discover I am enough. It is when all other voices fall silent that you will hear mine again. Clear, urgent, and full of power. It is when you have nothing left to hold on to that you will cling to me completely. And that, my child, is where miracles begin. You don't need to wait until you are empty and exhausted to return. Today is still the day of grace. This very hour is still the hour of mercy. If you turn back now, I can alter your course before the fall happens. I can heal even when the wound has barely begun to form. But if you reject me, if you continue to walk that path, if you still ignore the desperate cry from my heart, then the cost will be great, and it breaks my heart to know that it could have been avoided if only you had stopped. My beloved, don't wait another day. Don't wait until the hospital becomes the only place where I can finally speak to you. Don't make me knock on your door through moments teetering between life and death. Open your heart while you can still hear. Bow your knees while your legs still have strength. Weep while your tears can still become prayer. Because when you come to me in all truth and brokenness, I never turn you away. I am not afraid of the broken parts of you. I am not disgusted by your failures. I am only pained because I see you trying to do it all on your own, when I am the one who created you, who understands you, and who can heal you. Let me in. Don't close the door anymore. Don't delay surrender. For my love cannot bear watching you lose yourself a little more each day, unaware. My dear child, if you are reading these words, know this is not a coincidence. This is the voice of heaven speaking directly to you. Respond, act, return, and then you will see what you thought was a painful ending will become a glorious beginning to a journey beyond anything you ever dreamed, a journey with me, in me, and for me. And I, yes, I myself, will be your new source of life from this day and forevermore. My beloved child, have you not heard? Have you not known that it was I, the one who wove together every cell of your body, who wrote every line of your life story before your first cry, that I have already laid out plans for you beyond what you have ever dared to imagine? Plans not born of accident or fleeting ideas, but of eternal love and unfathomable wisdom. I have ordained a life of blessing for you, not a weary existence wrapped in fear and disappointment, a life where you do more than merely survive, but live with purpose, with dignity, with the light I placed within your soul since the dawn of creation. I have destined you for prosperity of the soul, not for withering and loneliness. I have dreamed of you walking in light, being a lamp on a hill, a voice in a generation blinded by lies, a bearer of truth where deception rules. I have prepared doors that only my hand can open, divine connections and opportunities sealed with grace. And more than all that, I have breathed into you a deep calling, a sacred invitation not merely to do something for me, but to become the very person I dreamed you would be. So why, my child? Why do you choose what is lesser? Why do you exchange the eternal for what fades in mere moments? Why do you offer your soul, a soul crafted in my image, for fleeting pleasures, for cheap dreams, for temporary thrills that never truly satisfy? Why do you allow unworthy things to define your worth, instead of allowing me, the one who shed his own blood for you, to tell you how infinitely precious you are? You are spending your time, the priceless treasure I entrusted to you, on things that can never bring you true life. You are letting yourself be distracted by screens, by lights, by hollow applause, while your soul is starving for something deeper, more lasting, more real. You are searching for validation from the world, while I have already marked you with the seal of heaven. You chase after fleeting success, while I have already prepared a place for you in a kingdom that cannot be shaken. Oh, my beloved, the cost of this trade is too high. Do not sell your future for the fleeting comfort of a momentary emotion. Do not sell your soul for the sake of a passing compliment. Do not let my voice be buried beneath the noise of a world desperate to pull you out of the light. You were not created to be average, not to simply be okay, not to live in lukewarm neutrality. Neither hot nor cold, you were made to burn with my love, with holy passion, with a mission that rises far above self. So why would you settle for anything beneath that? I do not condemn you for your weakness. I do not despise you for your past falls. On the contrary, I have seen your tears. I have felt the silent torment within you when the night falls. I was there on the nights you forced a smile to hide the pain. I have remained silent only to wait for the moment you would look up and whisper, "Father, I don't want to live this way anymore." And now, as you hear these words, as something stirs within your heart, that is my spirit moving. That is the voice you buried long ago, but which never truly died. It is the invitation not just to turn away from what is wrong, but to step into a new life, whole, pure, radiant, so bright that the very things which once enticed you now seem dull and meaningless. My child, there is nothing in this world worth trading for the sacred calling placed upon you. No relationship, no feeling, no dream, no matter how dazzling it may seem, is worth forfeiting the eternal blueprint I have written for your soul. For all things in this world will pass away: beauty, wealth, fame, even the body itself. But what I have placed within you, an immortal soul, an eternal light, and a calling born from my love, will last forever. Come back. Choose again. Refuse the lesser things and reach for what is higher. Do not live as though you were not destined for holiness. Do not walk as though you were not anointed. Do not remain silent as if you have no voice. Rise. Step into what I have written for you. Not with fear, but with boldness. Not with your own strength, but with the power of my grace. And when you walk in that calling, you will live differently. No longer envious of the world, no longer feeling left behind, no longer questioning your worth. For when you live according to your divine purpose, your soul will sing. Every fiber of your being will know it is in the right place. And joy, a joy that no one can take away, will flood your spirit like a river streaming through the desert. You were not destined to fail. You were not born to fade into the background. You were called to glorify my name. Do not lose sight of that again. I am still here, with arms wide open, still waiting. And if you choose to turn back, even just one step, I will run to you, embrace you, restore you, place the crown back on your head, and usher you into the next chapter I have lovingly written for you since eternity past. My beloved, in the midst of this noisy world and the hurried footsteps chasing nameless pursuits, I am calling you. Not with a faint voice lost among thousands of whispers, but with a strong, clear, urgent invitation. A summons from the heart of the Creator to the soul that is slowly forgetting what it was made for. I do not call you to frighten you. I call you to lift you up. I do not call you to make you pay for the past, but to lead you into a future no longer bound by the shadows that once held you. I am calling you higher, not just to another step of worldly success, not merely to a new door in this life, but to a place in the realm of eternity, a place where your soul can rise with ease, where your heart breathes in holiness, where you no longer live amid the ruins of what was broken. I am calling you into a life set apart, renewed, purified, and healed from the very roots. But my child, that path is not for those who cling to the past. It is not for those who try to enter glory while still holding onto their wounds. You must surrender. Not partially, not only when it's convenient, but wholly, completely, unconditionally. I know it's a great demand, but for that very reason, its reward will be far greater than anything you've ever known. You must lay down the burdens you carry, burdens I never asked you to bear, the anxieties, the expectations of others, the guilt you can't release even though I've already forgiven you, the responsibilities you've taken on that were never part of my will. You must drop every stone from that invisible backpack you've worn so long, you've forgotten how heavy it truly is. How can you soar, my child, when your wings are still tied down by things you were never meant to carry? And you must be ruthless with sin. No compromise, no delay, no toleration. I'm not calling you to perfection. I know you are weak, but I ask for honesty. I need you to sincerely say to me, I'm tired of this inner battle. I want to be free. Sin is cunning. It doesn't bang on your door. It whispers sweetly. It seduces with ease, with comfort, with convenience. But its end is death. Death of your spirit, death of your hope, and ultimately, death of your divine vision. Don't play with fire, and then blame me when your hands are burned. Throw off everything that's hindering you from running into the light. Step out of the darkness before the darkness becomes your home. And when you let go, truly let go, you will see that what I have prepared for you far surpasses every dream you ever imagined. What you can build with your own strength will always have limits, but what I have ordained for you before the foundations of the world exceeds all that you could ever ask or think. It is not merely a blessing, but completeness. Not just something good, but something divinely right. Not just life, but life abundant. So come, my child, come back. Not with hesitation, but with a heart set ablaze. I don't just want you to return to a place. I want you to return to your first love. A love that does not calculate, does not bind, does not seek gain. The love you once had, when your faith was still innocent, when a single prayer could move you to tears, when just hearing my name would cause your heart to tremble in holy reverence. Do you remember? You used to sing not for anyone to hear, pray not for anyone to see. You sought me simply to be near, not to ask for anything. You once stayed up all night because you couldn't tear yourself away from my word. You once loved me with a heart full of fire. So remember, not to dwell in regret, but to return. Let me rekindle that flame. Let me breathe new life into your soul. My breath, the very breath that once formed man out of dust, that once brought dry bones to rise, still holds power today. And if you allow me to breathe into your weary soul, I will cause you to live again. Not just survive, but live, with passion, with purpose, with the deep awareness that you are chosen, you are loved, and you are sent. Don't wait until your heart grows hard to return. Don't wait until your dreams have died to ask for resurrection. Right now, while you can still feel the stirring within, that is proof that my spirit is still at work. There is still time. The door is still open. There is still a path ahead. And I, yes I, myself, am still waiting for you there. You have not been cast aside. You have never wandered so far that I could not reach you. You are not forgotten in the crowd. You are not invisible. You are not without meaning. You are the one I have chosen. You are the one I loved enough to leave my throne of glory to seek. And today, if you return, I will embrace you as if you had never left. I will cleanse every stain. I will heal every fracture. I will restore what seemed forever lost, restoring it 100-fold. Come, fall before me so I may lift you up. Weep, and I will wipe your tears. Give me everything, and I will give you my very self. And when you enter into that communion, you will never feel empty again. You will no longer live aimlessly. You will become who you were created to be, a carrier of my presence, a witness of unfailing love, a voice crying out in the wilderness of this generation. My beloved child, when these words are spoken, they are not just echoes in the wind. They are the honest rhythm of the heart of the one who has loved you with an everlasting love. I am the Lord your God, merciful, true, patient, full of loving kindness. But I am also the Holy One, the unchanging righteous judge who rules justly over all the earth. Do not mistake my kindness for permission. Do not interpret my silence as agreement, for I cannot, and will never, make peace with evil. I cannot turn a blind eye to what is silently destroying your soul. Do you know this? I have waited patiently for you, through seasons upon seasons, through countless chances, through every gentle whisper. I have stood here, like a father at the doorframe, longing for his prodigal to come home. But my child, I will not be mocked. My righteousness will not be subdued by mercy that is manipulated. What you sow, you will reap. This is the unchanging law established since the dawn of creation, not to punish, but to protect, A seed of disobedience will never blossom into peace. A habit built on lies will never bear the fruit of life. But, and listen to this with every trembling beat of your heart, even now, if you return, if you humble yourself, if you simply stop, just one step back, and I will run 100 toward you. I will forgive, fully, freely, without limit. I will sweep away every trace of sin from your memory as though it never existed. I will heal you. From the visible fractures to the hidden wounds in your soul you've never dared to speak aloud. I will restore what you thought was lost, what you assumed was ruined, what the enemy had stolen. And I will make you new, not a better version of your old self, but a brand new creation, born of grace, anointed with life, and raised to bring glory to my name. My child, my arms have never closed. They remain open every day, every hour, every minute, waiting for your return. I do not grow weary of loving you. I do not cease to hope in you. My heart is not hardened by your silence. It continues to beat, each beat pulsing with love for you. And with every beat there is a message, a gentle calling. My child, come home. Leave the darkness behind. Do not grow accustomed to it. The darkness blinds your eyes, hardens your soul, and makes what is wrong seem normal. It lulls you into a deceptive sleep, whispering that everything is fine, even while your soul cries out for help each night. I did not call you to live in the gray zone of compromise. I called you into the brilliance of light, where there is nothing to hide, where truth sets you free, where love flows not with demands but with abundance. You must lay down your pride. It is pride that convinces you that you can orchestrate your own life. It is pride that keeps you from coming to me, fearing the admission of weakness. But my child, there is no weakness in you that surprises me. There is no truth about you that would make me turn away. I do not require your strength. I desire your surrender. And only when you are willing to bow low will you truly be lifted up. Let go of fear. Fear has gripped you for far too long. Fear of being hurt. Fear of rejection. Fear of judgment. Fear that I might turn you away. But let me ask you, who has ever rejected a heart that repents? Who has ever closed the door on a weeping child returning home? Not I. And you. Stop resisting. Stubbornness is not courage. It is rebellion against truth. You have tried living life your own way, and what has it brought you? Weariness, loneliness, confusion. Admit that you need me, not as a backup plan, but as the very center of your life, the anchor of all you are. Bow your head, not in fear, but in trust. In the surrender of someone who finally realizes, only the Lord can save me. And when you bow like that, when you open your heart fully, holding nothing back, you will see me, not as a distant God, but as a loving Father running toward you, embracing you, kissing you, and restoring everything the darkness tried to steal. You will witness deliverance, not through weapons or dazzling miracles, but through the gentleness of my presence, through a smile from heaven, through a peace that surpasses all understanding. You will see the chains break, You will see the walls collapse. You will see light flooding into the deepest corners of your soul, places you once believed no one could reach. My beloved child, even as you read these words, your heart may still be unsettled, trembling at the crossroads of your life, where the call of life and the whispers of darkness wrestle constantly. And in this sacred moment, I want you to know one thing. You are standing in the middle of a spiritual battle, deeper than your eyes can perceive and greater than your mind can comprehend. The enemy of your soul does not sleep. It does not rest. It prowls, waiting for a moment to sow seeds of doubt, fear, and confusion within you. It knows you are destined for greatness, and so it works tirelessly to make you forget. It doesn't need you to fall in dramatic ways. It only needs you to look away from me for a moment, to drift slightly, just enough to lead you off the path of glory I have already marked for you. The enemy wants to derail you from the holy calling I have placed upon your life. It relentlessly whispers that you are not good enough, that you've gone too far, that you no longer deserve my grace. It plants seeds of shame in your heart, causing you to hide from the light. It paints enticing shortcuts that promise much but deliver nothing, only to lead you into a barren land where heaven's voice seems silent and distant. It seeks to choke your voice, paralyze your actions, and kill the hope within you. It trembles at the thought that you might discover who you truly are in me. It fears the moment you rise up and step into the destiny I have prepared for you. Because when that happens, light will break forth in the darkness. And if you stand in your rightful place, the very foundations of hell will begin to tremble. But hear my word, stronger than every wall, more powerful than every scheme of the abyss. It shall not come to pass. The downfall the enemy is plotting for you will not succeed. The chains it is weaving around your soul will shatter. Every veil of confusion it tries to cast over your path will be swept away by the wind of my spirit. But there is one condition, and only one. You must be united with me. You cannot stand against darkness by your own strength. You cannot win this battle by intellect, willpower, or even the resilience you once believed was enough. No, my child, this is not a fight you are meant to face alone. But if you choose to walk with me, not ahead of me, not behind, but in full union with me, then every plan of the enemy will be rendered powerless. Union with me is not just a confession of the lips. It is a living connection between your heart and mine. It is when you choose my will over your own. When you trust my word more than the inner whispers of fear and doubt. When you dare to take my hand in the darkness, not because you see the way forward, but because you are convinced that I am the way. When you walk in oneness with me, nothing can separate you from the destiny I have ordained. No person, no circumstance, no failure, no matter how great, can snatch from you the calling I have crafted with my own hands. Because what I begin, I also finish. What I plant, I bring to bloom. And what I speak never returns void. You will see it for yourself when you walk in unity with me. Everything will begin to change. The turmoil in your soul will settle like still waters after a storm. The mind that once swayed like a boat in wild winds will begin to receive new clarity. Mountains of impossibility that once towered before you will flatten into plains. For I myself am the one who levels the rugged path. I will teach you how to recognize my voice amid the noise. I will show you the traps of the enemy before you step into them. I will anoint your eyes to see beyond what circumstances reveal. I will make your heart strong like stone, yet tender to the whisper of my spirit. And you will know, not by theory, but by living, breathing experience, that no weapon forged against you will prevail. You will not merely endure, you will overcome. Not because you are strong, but because you are standing in the right place, in me. My child, never underestimate the power of unity. When you and I are one, nothing is impossible. The Red Sea will part, manna will fall, mountains will move, walls will crumble. Not by your might, but by me. The one who lives in you, works through you, and is glorified in your life. The enemy wants to sever you from the source of life, but if you hold tightly to me, as a branch clings to the vine, no force in heaven or on earth can uproot you from that place of safety. I am the rock. I am the fortress. I am the living source. In me, you will not only be safe, you will be equipped, lifted up, and used for my glory. Therefore, my beloved child, decide today. No more delay, no more wavering, no more compromise. Choose to align with me with all your heart, soul, will, and actions. Let every decision you make reflect obedience. Let every step you take declare to the forces of hell, I belong to him, and I will not be taken from his hand. Rise up, not as one weary and defeated, but as a warrior freshly armed by the Holy Spirit. Walk forward, not in fear, but in the boldness of one who knows they are protected by the Lord of hosts. Speak out, not for your own name, but for the mission that has been entrusted to your mouth. For you were born for such a time as this, and I, the God of life, will fulfill every word I have spoken over you, if you remain in me and I in you. This is the moment. This is the hour of decision. This is a call from heaven, not merely a reminder, but a summons. Do not turn your face away. Do not refuse it. Unite yourself with me, and you will witness this. Every scheme the enemy devised against you, I will turn into a platform for my glory through your life. For in the end, victory is already written. And if you choose me, you will never again walk in defeat. Your current state of health, both physical and mental, is hanging by a very fragile thread. I do not say this to instill fear, but to help you see what you've tried to ignore. I have noticed the early signs, when you became more fatigued than usual, when your recovery took longer, when anxiety began to seep into your very cells and thoughts. These things did not arrive by accident, nor are they unstoppable. They are warning bells, and I am the one sounding them, because I do not want to see you collapse. This is not a sealed fate. This is not an unchangeable destiny. Understand this clearly. This is a loving warning, not a final sentence. I am not a harsh God, waiting for you to stumble so I can condemn you. On the contrary, I am the Father who still has his arms outstretched, calling you to return before consequences become realities that you can no longer avoid. Do you remember? It was you who cried out to me. In those quiet hours when you whispered in desperation, Lord, please show me what to do. Please rescue me from this place. I heard you. I saw your tears fall in the darkness of that room. I saw the fear in your eyes as your body signaled distress through sleepless nights and unexplained pain. And today I answer, not with noise, not with a blinding miracle from the skies, but with a gentle, powerful voice. Return, listen, follow. You expected a different kind of intervention, perhaps an instant healing, a miracle like those in Scripture. But, child, sometimes the miracle doesn't come as a rushing wind. Sometimes it comes as a whisper. This time, the miracle is the awakening. It is my voice speaking within your soul. It is the opportunity you now hold in your hands to turn around, to stop what is approaching, to choose life. I do not desire destruction to come upon you. I never created you to endure depletion. I did not design your body to be a burden. I formed you to live strong, whole, and free. But that kind of life can only flow when you choose to walk in obedience, when you listen and act, when you stop rationalizing what is broken, when you stop calling compromise okay, and begin to call truth what it truly is. My child, repentance is not something to be feared. It is the path to freedom. The moment you humble yourself and say to me, Father, I have gone astray, the heavens open, not to pour out judgment, but to release mercy, not to shut the door, but to begin a new season, a season of restoration. Yes, this can change the outcome. Your surrender and obedience can reroute what once seemed inevitable. A destiny carved in stone can be wiped clean by a single word from my mouth, if I find in you a tender, repentant heart. This is not just something I did long ago. It is something I still do now, for you, today. Do not take lightly the opportunity I am giving you. This is an invitation not merely to survive, but to come alive again. It is the doorway into a new season, one where healing does not only touch the physical body, but penetrates to the depths of your soul. A season where you will no longer fear sleep for dread of pain returning. A season where you will awaken not with exhaustion, but with expectancy. A season where, when you look in the mirror, you will no longer see someone fading, but someone being restored, day by day, by the power of life from heaven. I know it may be hard for you to believe. You've grown accustomed to weariness. You've accepted decline as an unavoidable part of life. But I come to say, no. It is not meant to be this way. This is not your destiny. This is not my plan. You were not created to silently wither. You were created to live loudly in my glory. But you must act. Not tomorrow, not when you have time, right now. I do not need you to be perfect to begin. I just need you to take the first step. It might be a sincere prayer. It might be a resolute decision. It might be the refusal to keep living in a pattern that is slowly destroying your body. Whatever it is, take the step. I will handle the rest. And when you do, I promise you this: the wind of restoration will blow. Strength will return. Your body will be upheld. Your mind will be renewed. The dreams you thought were dead will rise again, not because you earned it, but because I am faithful. You are not abandoned. This is not the end. This is the pause, right before a new symphony begins. I am extending my hand, not to drag you back into the past, but to lead you into a future more beautiful than anything you've ever imagined. Take my hand. Let me guide you through this darkness, and you will see What you thought was a dreadful warning, today will become a miraculous salvation in the days to come. My beloved child, I continue to speak to you, not to frighten you, not because I demand perfection that you cannot attain, but because my heart overflows with compassion and my love pours out like an endless fountain for you. The precious one I formed with tenderness, care, and eternal hope. I speak because I see what you cannot. I see the dangers lurking like wild beasts in the shadows. I see the paths you believe are harmless, but lead you far from the light, into desolate places where life slowly fades and your soul does not even realize it. I see the end from the beginning, while you see only what's in front of you. I see the entire picture. I see where you are headed if you keep following the momentum of instinct instead of pausing to hear my voice. The voice that has saved countless souls. The voice that has called many back from the brink. I am Jehovah your God. I am not a distant spirit. I am the one who existed before all creation, the one who called light out of darkness, who set the stars in their precise places, and who breathed into your nostrils the very first breath of life. I have watched the generations of humanity pass by, each person, each bloodline, each era. I have seen humanity repeat the same mistake time and again, believing they could walk without me, thinking that the small, seemingly harmless things would have no consequence. Yet it is precisely those small things which, left unchecked, slowly pull them away from truth, away from life itself. My child, I see what is quietly taking shape within you. Habits that appear harmless, routines that go unchallenged. These are gradually molding a way of life that drifts from me. You do not notice it because it comes subtly, gently. But that is exactly how the enemy works. He does not arrive with swords and roars, but with the comfort of the familiar and the ease of compromise. He lulls you into lowering your guard. He's just one more time, but each one more time is a step further from me. Another layer of dust covering the light I once ignited within you. I have watched many of my children walk down that road, not because they were wicked at heart, but because they stopped listening. They stopped turning back. They believed repentance was only necessary for major failures. But my dear one, it is the quiet detours, the small distractions in everyday life that slowly erode your soul. A lingering gaze, a self-indulgent thought, a minor compromise. These are the paving stones of destruction, if not removed early on. And because I love you, I cannot stay silent. I cannot watch you slip into the mire just because you think you're still on the right path. I speak because I know that without timely warning, the small becomes great, and what could be corrected today becomes irreparable tomorrow. I know the power of repetition, and when left unguided, habit becomes bondage, leading you from freedom into slavery without even a sound. Yet even now, in this very moment, I offer you a chance, a divine interruption, a word not of condemnation, but of awakening. Let my voice today be a clarion bell within your mind. Examine your life. Look at every detail you have brushed off as small and ask yourself, is this drawing me closer to God? If the answer is no, then lay it down. Dare to cut it off. Dare to let me cleanse your house, both inside and out. My child, I do not want our relationship to be dry religion. I desire something living, fresh, and real. I long for you to recognize my voice amid the countless others. I want your heart to ache over what grieves mine, and to rejoice over what causes heaven to celebrate. I do not merely want to be the one who blesses you. I want to be the one who lives in you, moves through you, and is glorified by your very life. If you let me, I will teach you to discern good and evil at the root. I will help you foresee danger before it even arises. I will grant you spiritual sensitivity so you will not be deceived by outward appearances. I will remind you, correct you, mold you, not because I want you to be close to my will, but because I want you to walk fully in it. I want you to live in wisdom, not in guesswork, in holiness, not in compromise, in true life, not in weary survival. And if you dare to listen, if you are willing to humble yourself, if you know how to say, Lord, show me even the smallest thing, then I will grant you light for every step you take. You will not have to stumble in the dark. You will not be deceived by appearances. You will walk with eyes wide open, with a tender heart, and with ears attuned to the gentle prompting of the Holy Spirit. My beloved, you are not alone on this journey. I am not sending you into unknown territory by yourself. I am the one who goes before you, and I am also the one who walks beside you. And if you hold fast to my words, if you cherish the instruction I give, not only in matters that seem great, but even in things that appear insignificant, then you will not fall. You will stand firm, you will grow, and you will become the person I have always seen in you, the one who reflects heaven's light in the midst of this world's darkness. Listen to me, my child. Do not listen with just your ears. Listen with your soul. Let my words not only touch your thoughts, but penetrate to the very depths, where habits are formed, where choices are made, where your true self resides. And then you will see what may sound like a warning today is in fact tomorrow's redemption. For I am not only the righteous one, I am your Father, a Father who knows all things in advance, yet never ceases to love, never stops teaching, never gives up on calling your heart back to mine. And I will not stop, not until you truly live rightly, live fully, live in me. My precious one, today I speak to you again, not because you have never heard, but because I know there are still things in your heart you have yet to release. I see you holding on to certain corners of darkness, places where my light has not yet been given permission to shine. You've labeled them harmless, insignificant, under control. But I, who search all thoughts and examine the depths of the heart, have come to tell you clearly and without ambiguity. It is in those seemingly small places that the enemy is quietly building his stronghold. You think you have the strength to manage it. You think it's just a few private actions, a few repeated habits, a few fleeting thoughts not worth your attention. But the truth is this: nothing is ever small when it concerns holiness. Anything that is not surrendered under my lordship has the potential to become a tool for destruction. And the enemy doesn't need much. He only needs a crack, a door left ajar, a patch of ground you haven't yielded. From there he will slip in, take root, and slowly turn your soul into a battlefield. My child, do not deceive yourself. You cannot invite the darkness in and still expect the light to overflow. You cannot embrace what is impure and still expect your life to bear holy fruit. Every choice, even the smallest, carries a consequence. No decision is ever neutral. No thought is ever meaningless. Every time you tolerate what is wrong, you weaken your ability to discern. Every time you say, "just this once," you carve out a new channel in your soul, a path that will be difficult to abandon later. What you permit to dwell in your mind, what you secretly harbor in your heart, will eventually manifest in your actions. Nothing stays hidden forever. A thought left unguarded will grow into a desire. And if that desire is not surrendered to me, it will seek expression. Actions repeated over time will form habits. Habits shape character, and character is what ultimately determines your destiny. Do you see the cycle, my child? It began with what seemed like a harmless thought, and yet it grew until it shaped the course of your entire life. No one collapses in a single day. People fall because they fail to notice the small things. A tiny crack left unrepaired can bring down an entire dam. A single spark left unattended can consume an entire forest. That is why I call you, not in thunder, but in a whisper. Guard your heart, because everything in your life, every action, every decision, every relationship, every reaction, every moral choice begins from one place: the heart. The heart is the source. It is the foundation. It is the truest core of your being. And if the source is polluted, everything that flows from it will carry destruction. But if you let me cleanse your heart, if you allow me to touch the deepest places within you, then from that place will flow life, wisdom, kindness, faithfulness, and eternal light. My beloved, do not take lightly the battles in your mind. Do not dismiss the wrestlings within. I care not only about your outward actions, I look at the motives behind them. I do not simply judge your words, I weigh every thought, because I know whatever is left unresolved in your mind will soon lay claim to your soul. And once your spirit is taken captive, no one can stand firm in the hour of testing. There are habits of laziness, moments when you choose to stay lying down instead of rising up, when you delay action instead of stepping forward, when you chase temporary comfort instead of advancing into what I have prepared. These small decisions are quietly suffocating the strength of your will. Every time you yield to laziness, a part of your spiritual discipline is worn down. Every morning you wake up and say, "It's fine, I'll do it tomorrow." You take one step further from the maturity I long to see in you. You think it's just a little rest, just a small release. It won't hurt. But my child, it is these small things, added together day by day, that steal your passion and leave you unprepared when opportunity comes knocking. Those opportunities are not random. They are appointments of grace, divinely ordained. But when you delay, you remove yourself from the moment I had set for you. And once that moment passes, it may not come again so easily. There are indulgent patterns, living by impulse, chasing fleeting pleasures that leave lasting damage. You let your body govern your soul. You follow instinct instead of being led by the Spirit. The foods I asked you to limit, you chase after. The images I asked you to avoid, you dwell upon. The compromises I called you to renounce, you secretly nurture in your heart, and then you wonder why your health is fading, why your spirit feels sluggish, why the life you once knew no longer wells up inside of you. Beloved child, it is this very indulgence that is robbing you of the best years I have given you. It turns your body from a temple into a territory invaded by carnal cravings. It makes you forget that you were created to live with purpose, not to be ruled by fleeting desires. So now I call you to awaken. Cleanse your house. Be willing to tear down the mental strongholds that have stood for too long. The arguments you've used to justify what you knew was wrong. Call sin by its true name. Drag it into the light. Let me burn it away with my holiness. You cannot do this alone. I'm not asking you to fight the darkness in your heart by your own strength, but I am inviting you to partner with the Holy Spirit. I invite you to surrender every thought, every emotion, every memory, every pattern, no matter how small, so that I may examine it, wash it, and realign it with my will. If you truly mean it in your heart, I promise you this: no darkness will be able to hold you back. No destructive habit is too powerful for me to break. No deeply rooted pattern is beyond my ability to transform. For I am not only the one who created you, I am the one who renews you daily. My child, these are not the words of a judge. These are the words of a father desperately trying to rescue his beloved child from the edge of the sword. This is the loving voice of the one who sees far beyond what your eyes can see, who knows what you have yet to understand. I am not calling you to control you. I am calling you to protect you. You once longed to live close to me. You once yearned for purity and freedom. Now is the time to respond to that longing with action. Start from your heart. Let me teach you to love what I love and to hate what I hate. Let me show you who you were truly created to be. Not someone forever wrestling with your old self, but someone who walks in victory, wisdom, and the peace that only I can give. Return to that simple beginning, where your heart was mine alone, where you chose righteousness not because others were watching, but because you knew my eyes were upon you, where you didn't need applause, only my whisper. Well done, my good and faithful servant. Choose to live without compromise. Let your heart become fertile ground, where every thought, every emotion planted there draws you closer to me. And when you live that way, from the inside out, your entire life will begin to realign. No longer will there be a conflict between what you believe and what you do. No longer will you live torn between ideals and actions. No longer will there be distance between you and me. There will only be a deep and abiding unity between father and child, between life and the one who carries it. This is your opportunity. This is the reminder. This is the invitation to return to your origin. And if you respond, I promise, I will keep you. I will give you strength to stand firm. I will give you eyes to see the traps ahead, and I will cause you to live as one who bears the image of heaven in the midst of a blind world. Now is the time for you to learn how to listen, not only with your physical ears, but with a heart that is sensitive, with a spirit that is humble, with a soul that no longer resists. I am speaking to you. I have called to you many times, in dreams, in the quiet nudges within, in those still moments when everything falls silent. But if your heart remains hardened, if you keep turning away, then my holiness cannot stay silent, and my love will not let me remain quiet. When I convict you, it is not to shame you into hiding your face. On the contrary, it is an invitation to return, a loving warning meant to pull you away from what is slowly destroying your soul. I reveal your wounds not to condemn, but to place my hand upon them and anoint them with healing oil. My corrections are never born from uncontrolled anger, but from a bleeding heart that cannot bear to watch my child wounding themselves any longer. When I place my hand of discipline upon you, it is not to push you away. In fact, it is in those very moments of correction that the evidence is clearest. You still belong to me. I only discipline those who are mine. I only train those whom I love. And if the voice of discipline feels closer now than ever before, it is because I am longing to draw you nearer, ever nearer, to the place where my breath touches your forehead, and your soul no longer trembles in fear, but is stirred with the deep peace that only I can give. But my child, you must understand this. Every compromise you tolerate in your life is like a door you open to the enemy. He doesn't need you to openly declare your allegiance to him. All he needs is your indifference. Just one shrug, one whisper to yourself, "It's no big deal. It won't matter." And slowly, bit by bit, you let him in, into your thoughts, into your words, into your behavior, into the daily choices you make without even realizing. The enemy does not wait for a grand invitation. He only needs that one moment when you dismiss the gentle conviction of the Holy Spirit. Just a single instance when you stay silent when you should have confessed. And in that moment, the chains, those that were once broken when you came to me, begin to be reforged, link by link. Not by my hands, but by your own stubborn will. You don't see it, but every time you choose comfort over obedience, you are taking a step away from the eternal purpose I've designed for you. And the farther you drift, the quieter my voice seems. Not because I've stopped speaking, but because your heart has grown heavy and dull, no longer sensitive to my presence. My beloved child, do not trade glory for convenience. Do not choose short-term ease at the cost of eternal fulfillment. You were never meant for chains. You were destined for a crown. You were chosen to live with greatness, not to survive in circles of small, empty decisions. You were called to walk in the light, not to fumble quietly in darkness just because change feels uncomfortable. Obedience may not always feel comfortable, but it is the only path that draws you closer to me. Every act of surrender pushes back the darkness. Every decision to place me above your personal desires is a step toward true freedom. And every time you say no to temptation, even if only in your thoughts, you are training your spirit to be strong, bold, and unmoved by the shifting tides of this world. I know there are days you feel tired, moments when you feel like you have no strength left, but I also know this. Within you there is still a flame. It may flicker, but it has never gone out. That flame did not come from you. It is the part of me that I ignited in you, the part of me that remains. And as long as you still lift your eyes, still call my name, still desire to return, that flame can blaze again, fierce, brilliant, and unquenchable. But you must decide. No one else can choose a life without compromise for you. No one else can walk the road of obedience on your behalf. And I, though I love you with an everlasting love, will not force your surrender if you will not give it. But I will always keep my arms open. I will always wait. I will always watch the quiet stirrings of your heart, and the moment I see a sign of true repentance, all of heaven will erupt in joy. So, my child, do not harden your heart any longer. Hear the voice that is calling out to you now. Stop, look in the mirror, and be honest with yourself. Ask this question: am I truly living the life I was created to live, or am I merely surviving as a dim shadow of something far more glorious that God has prepared for me? Do not let another day pass in delay. Do not let another hour be swallowed by compromise. Rise up, bravely, today. Confess what needs to be confessed. Cut off what needs to be released. Turn back from the path that leads to slow destruction. Run to me, not with perfect steps, but with a broken heart. And when you do, you will see I will not only forgive, I will heal. I will not merely forget your past, I will restore your future. My beloved child, let your heart grow still once more, that you may clearly hear the call of the one who knit your soul together with his own hands. I am not a distant God gazing down from some unreachable height. I am your Father, a Father who never stops loving, a Father who still steps out to the doorway of his heart every day, longing to catch the glimpse of his child returning home. I am the Father who ran, without regard for reputation or whispers of shame, just to hold you tight when you were still covered in the ashes of your wandering. I am the Father who did not keep record, who did not interrogate, who simply opened wide his arms and wept tears of joy because you were still alive. I am also the Redeemer of your soul, the one who stepped down from radiant glory to carry the weight of your sin. I accepted the scorn, the mocking, the nails, to exchange my life for your freedom. Every wound on my body stands as a bold declaration of a love that knows no conditions. Every drop of blood that fell to the ground was a resounding message. I choose you. I didn't just rescue you from condemnation. I gave you the privilege of becoming an heir. I brought you into my house as a beloved child, not a guilty beggar. And yet, my child, why do you return to your old chains? When I shattered the prison of darkness, why would you step back inside and close the door behind you? When I stretched out my hand to offer you freedom, why would you choose again to live as though you were still imprisoned? Can you not see it? Freedom is not some abstract idea. It is a living reality, bought at the cost of my very life and freely offered to you. But to live in that freedom, you must choose to walk away from what once enslaved you. Why then do you choose sickness, not only of the body, but of the soul? My arms are open to touch, to heal, to pour oil over the places where your heart has bled for far too long. I do not simply want to ease your pain. I long to restore you. I desire to renew you. I want your soul to rise from exhaustion and escape the endless cycle of chasing what will never satisfy. But healing begins at surrender. It begins when you release the old. It begins when you dare to believe that I don't just want you to feel better. I want you to be whole. Why do you choose sorrow when I am inviting you into joy everlasting? Joy that does not come from circumstances, but from knowing you are loved. forgiven, accepted. Joy that cannot be swept away by the storms of life, because it springs from the one who never changes. I do not promise that you will never cry, but I do promise to wipe your every tear. I do not promise a life without pain, but I do promise that you will never endure it alone. My child, look closely at what you are still clinging to, these habits you've kept close, like old familiar friends. They are, in truth, traitors. At first, they seemed sweet, like honey touching your lips. They helped you forget the pain for a moment, forget responsibility, forget the dreams you once carried. But don't you see? They leave no aftertaste of life, only the wreckage of brokenness. What begins with softness, but does not have me in it, will always end in a bitterness you never expected. They sparkle for a moment, like gems scattered along a rugged road. But if you keep your eyes locked on their false glimmer, you will stop looking ahead. You will miss the cliff just beyond. What seemed beautiful in your hands will shatter. What felt comforting will become a burden. And by the time you realize it, you may find you've wandered far from the place where I stood with arms wide open, waiting for you. My dear child, I have never stopped loving you. Not when you ran, not when you fell, not even when you chose wrongly. But do not mistake my love for passive approval. I love you too much to stay silent while you destroy yourself. I love you enough to speak the truth, even when you resist hearing it. And the truth is this: you cannot cling to darkness and live in the light. You cannot walk the glorious path I have ordained for you if your feet are still bound by old habits. You cannot live boldly in faith if your mouth continues to speak words of doubt. You cannot fully embrace freedom if your mind is still weighed down by regret, bitterness, and self-condemnation. I have not called you to a life that is merely enough, just okay, or fix it later. I have called you into an abundant life, a life filled with my spirit, a life where each day draws you closer to the radiant destiny I have written for you. And I am calling you right now. Not tomorrow when you feel more ready, not later when you are less busy or less sinful. This very moment, when your heart is beginning to soften at the sound of my voice. This is the moment I long for you to respond. I am not asking for perfection. I am not waiting for preparation. I only ask for sincerity. Come back. Let go. Let me lift from your heart every habit that has been pulling you down. Let me cleanse every stain you thought would never be removed. Let me take your hand, pull you out from the mire of familiarity, and place you firmly upon the rock of truth, of hope, and of eternity. For I am the Father, who never abandons a child striving to return. I am the Redeemer, who withholds nothing in order to bring you back into true life. And you, if you choose me, will no longer be a prisoner of the dark, but an heir of the light, one who is healed, one who is restored, one who walks in a life worthy of the price that has been paid. Now, offer up your honest prayer to me. You may say something like this: Lord, I tremble as I hear your voice. My heart aches, knowing that it is my own actions and patterns that have wounded both my body and soul. Today I no longer want to delay. I no longer want to let tomorrow arrive while my heart remains hardened. Please forgive me for ignoring your warnings. Wash me clean of every impurity, of every rebellious thought and action. I return to you with all my heart, for I know that apart from you there is no safe refuge. Lord, please save me before I fall into the pit. Rescue me from the edge of collapse, from the path that is leading me to ruin. I no longer want to live in compromise. Awaken my spirit from its spiritual slumber. Open my eyes to the traps the enemy has set before me, and give me the strength to walk away, to change, to surrender. I reach out for the hand you extend, and I cry out, "Save me, Lord." Lord, I confess that I have tolerated habits I knew were harmful. I continued in things I knew were wrong. I called sin normal. I compromised in the shadows. But today, I ask you to expose it all. Shine your light into the deepest places of my heart. Reveal every pattern that has been poisoning me. I no longer wish to hide. I surrender it all to you. Please break every chain that has bound me for so long. Grant me the power to live in true freedom. Lord, I am not as strong as I've pretended to be. I am weak, easily swayed and weary. But I believe in what you have spoken, that your power is made perfect in my weakness. I no longer need to strive on my own. I need you. I surrender. I fall into the arms of the one who can carry me through every storm. Fight for me, Lord. Give me a new spirit, a spirit of obedience and a deep longing to live a life that pleases you. Lord, forgive me for the times I said tomorrow when you said now. I no longer want to wait for another sign, another warning, another shaking. I know that time is running short. Today I respond. I choose to rise. I choose to turn back. Teach me to treasure every moment. Help me to act now, to walk now, to change now. For I understand that delay is a trap that leads to destruction. Lord, I know my body has suffered the consequences of poor decisions. I cannot go back and change the past, but I can surrender my present. Heal my body by the power of your hand, and please, Lord, heal my soul as well, in the deepest places where wounds once festered, where abandonment left scars, where love grew cold. Restore me not just to survive, but to live fully, powerfully, and pleasingly before you. My breath belongs to you. Renew me once again. Lord, for so long I lived under the illusion that I could control my life, and construction monument in its front yard. I thought I could master everything: my health, my future, my soul. But now I realize, without you, I can do nothing. I let go of that false control. I give everything to you. Lead me in your ways. Plant in me an unshakable trust, so that I may no longer rely on my own strength, but fully depend on you. Lord, I want to be holy as you are holy. Cleanse me from all that is unworthy. Make my heart sensitive to the gentle conviction of the Holy Spirit. Do not let me grow numb to sin. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Sanctify me daily, in my thoughts, in my actions, in every hidden place. I no longer want to live in filth. I want to be a temple for your glory to dwell. Lord, today I renew my life's commitment to you. I don't just ask for salvation. I offer my entire life. I don't only desire to escape punishment. I long to walk in the purpose and calling you have designed for me. Prune me, correct me, mold me according to your will. Whatever I must lose in the process, still I say, yes, Lord. because I believe true life is only found in true surrender. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you love the Lord, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of these life-giving, meaningful messages from God. Together, let us grow in faith and live a fulfilled life in His everlasting love. Amen.